Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Karita if you're new. So for today's video, I wanted to quickly discuss how I use my GI Bill. I am a U.S. Army veteran and I did receive a GI Bill to go to school. So my school was completely paid for. So before I get into this video, I wanted to say just a quick disclaimer that I know that the military is not for everyone, and I'm not, pushing the military on anyone. This is just how I did it and what I did, and I wanted to share with people who may be like myself. Maybe you're a veteran, or maybe you're married to a veteran, or you're married to a service member. So I wanted to share the things that I did to maximize my GI Bill benefits and what worked for me and what I learned more or less towards the end of my time using my GI Bill. I spent a lot of time wasting it. I wish I knew these things prior to, because I would have taken advantage of a lot of the programs that they have prior to finishing up my degree. But yeah, wanted to do a quick disclaimer before I get into the video, just in case you are not a service member or a veteran and you don't have a GI Bill. So before I get into the video, I would love if you would consider subscribing if you have not already. Go ahead and hit that red button down below, give this video a thumbs up, and turn on post notifications so that you don't miss any future uploads. So to get started with today's video, first I wanted to say that I do have both of my degrees and I did not pay anything to receive my degrees. I went to 2 different schools, well actually 4. I went to 4 different schools total. The first school that I went to was in North Carolina and it was called Fayetteville Tech. It's Fayetteville Technical Community College or Technical School. I'm not too sure which one it is, but we all call it Fayetteville Tech. If you're in the Fort Bragg area, I went to Fayetteville Tech. I went to Fayetteville Tech first because it was highly recommended. Of course, they dealt directly with Fort Bragg, so they knew, how to get the TA rolling and all that stuff. So I went there first, and then I left Fayetteville Tech because I felt like it was too slow for me and I didn't really like it. So I went to Methodist University, which is also in North Carolina. It's near Fort Bragg as well. And I went to Methodist because I wanted to start doing more face-to-face classes at night, and they had a better lineup for night classes than Fayetteville Tech did. So I went to Methodist University, and then once I got out, I went to UMUC, which is University of Maryland University College, but they recently changed their name to University of Maryland Global Campus, but it's the same school. I still highly recommend it, but when I went, it was UMUC. Now it's UMGC, if I'm not mistaken. And that's where I ended up finishing my bachelor's degree at. And for my master's degree, I went to Liberty University. And those are the 4 schools that I went to get my degree. If I knew better, I would have just stuck with one school because I did have to do a few classes over. But yeah, so this right here is my bachelor's degree, and this right here is my master's degree. Very proud of both of them because, quick little backstory, I never wanted to go to college. That was the reason for joining the Army anyway. I didn't know what I wanted to do outside of high school, and I kind of wanted time to figure out what was next for me. So I joined the Army, and upon joining, I immediately had that push to go to school. So I'm grateful that I did have that push, but immediately after high school, I did not want to go to college. And moving forward in life, I'm glad I finally did go, especially because it was quote unquote free to get my degree. So the first tip that I have is for people who are going to get an associate's or undergrad is to, well, first is for service members. If you are currently serving, I highly recommend that you go ahead and begin your degree process while you are still serving and using TA, because TA of course is free to use. There is a cap on TA, but for the most part you can get a lot accomplished using TA. That's how I started out with Fayetteville Tech and Methodist University. I was going there on TA and everything was covered, of course. It was just kind of a hassle figuring out which classes to take when, because I would reach my TA cap and have to wait until I could, start it over. But I highly recommend TA. You can go to your education center and get information about it. There is information online about how to get TA started. You do need, of course, to let your command know that you're going to go to school, but for the most part, TA is free to use. Everybody has access to it. And I just recommend using it because the GI Bill is very limited. You don't have forever to finish school with the GI Bill. They give you a timeline to finish school, and it can be a lot of pressure to be on a timeline because your money is going to run out. So that's why I recommend using TA if you are a service member, because TA will not run out. If you decide to serve for 8 years, for all 8 years you can use TA, and if you're lucky you can get your degree done, you know, for free using TA, and then you save your GI Bill for your children or your spouse or whatever. So the second tip that I have is to do your research, and maybe, you know, it's a toss-up between first and second. It just depends. If you are a service member, of course, do your research about using TA, how to get it started, how to get it going. And this tip is for anyone. Do your research before you commit to a school, because not every school is the same. Not every school works with service members or people who are in the service. It is very highly recommended to go to a school who is familiar with the GI Bill or TA or whatever it is that you're going to use, because that will make the process a lot easier. And the teachers and faculty are usually a little bit more understanding of service members and their schedules, or of your spouse. You know, even if you're not a service member yourself and your spouse deploys and you're at home and you're trying to juggle things, those schools typically are more understanding to your lifestyle and what it is that you're going through than just your average university. So do your research on a school before you just commit to the school. Look up the credits that it takes to get your degree. Look up the amount of time. Look up the cost. Look up if they accept transfer credits. A lot of schools do take transfer credits. A lot of schools don't. Also look into if your school is private or public. All those things. Like, do your research before you commit to a school, because once you start those classes, it's really hard to stop and start them again with a different school, because you may end up losing credits and wasting time, and of course wasting money. So I highly recommend that you do your research first. Don't just pick a school because of the name or because of the location, because I did that with Fayetteville Tech. I picked it because it was convenient. But do your research. Don't just go because other people go. And don't just go because they claim to be military friendly. Like, do your own research, ask questions if you have anybody else that's been to those schools. But yeah, just do your research as much as you can. The third tip that I have is to kind of be your own academic advisor. I know this may sound strange, but it really does become up to you to take charge of your education and your time and your schedule and your courses. The school will populate, you know, courses in the order that they should go in and what should go after what. But if you already have a subject that you want to major in and you know what you want to do, to go on that school's website or ask your career counselor or whoever to print it out for you and read through it. And typically each school will have a code for each class, and you can go on the school's website and type in that code and it can tell you what the class should entail. Sometimes it'll be a syllabus already online that you can read the syllabus and tell, you know, what exactly it is that you can do to prepare for that class. But I highly recommend taking charge of your education. Don't leave it up to an academic advisor. Don't leave it up to anybody to set your courses for you, because only you know your schedule. Only you know your strengths and your weaknesses and what classes that will best flow for you. So for example, I was okay taking a math and a science and an English all in the same semester, but I met people who said when I took math, I only took math that whole semester. And that's okay. Like, if you only have time to dedicate to one class, then, you know, be your own advocate and pick those courses that are right for you. Don't let the computer system or a academic advisor tell you what's going to be best for you, because only you know what you can handle, and that will save you time, and it'll save you from dropping classes, and it'll also put you ahead if you are able to go ahead and kind of forecast what you need to accomplish each semester so that you are either on target or ahead of the game. So the fourth tip that I have is to pick a school that offers accelerated classes if you can handle it. If you can't handle accelerated classes, then by all means stick to traditional courses. But if you can handle it, I highly recommend looking into accelerated courses. So that's what I did personally. Methodist University and UMUC was accelerated, and Liberty was accelerated. So all my classes were only 8 weeks. It does require a lot more work. It requires discipline, but I felt like it was just better for me. I didn't see the point in sitting through 16 weeks to cover a topic. It didn't work for me. And I learned that because at Fayetteville Tech, the courses were 16 weeks, and I was like checked out mentally at week 6. Like, I was done. So I knew from Fayetteville Tech that I wanted to go to a college that offered 8-week classes and just to get it over with. Now there are some schools that offer 4-week classes and 6-week classes. I did not take those, but if you can handle it and you can compress all that information, you know, do it, because you will get done a lot faster. But for me personally, I took 8-week classes. So for a typical semester, I had 2 semesters, and each semester I would double up on classes. So that was how I got done, was going to an accelerated school that had 8-week courses, and they're becoming more and more popular now. When I was doing it, I don't recall as many schools having 8-week courses, but a lot of schools now do offer 8-week courses, because of course you get done a lot faster, and it allows you to finish your degree a lot faster and move on with your life, essentially. The other tip that I have for maximizing your benefits is to know your benefits. And it's so important for you to hop on the G.I.BILL website or to go to the TA website and read, because you are entitled to so many benefits if you use your G.I.BILL properly. And using your G.I.BILL can allow you to stay home if you are a parent, to stay home with your kids. For some, not everybody, but for me, I was able to stay home with my daughter. My husband is still in the military, so he still went to work, but having a G.I.BILL kind of took that pressure off of needing an extra income, because I was getting money to go to school. So it's very important to know your G.I.BILL benefits as well as your TA benefits. They do differ a lot. I can't say off the top of my head because I haven't used TA in over 7 years, but TA and G.I.BILL do differ a lot. But for the most part, I'll speak on the G.I.BILL because that's what I used. And I highly recommend that you jump on the website and read, ask questions, call the number. They're very helpful. If they're not 24 hours a day, they're open pretty late. When we lived in South Korea, I could always call and get someone on the phone to explain things to me, and they were very helpful at getting me my answers. But definitely hop on the website. They have a lot of tools that can tell you a lot about the school that you're looking into, what the school requires, what's covered, what's not covered, how much they're willing to pay you to go to school, and how much they're willing to pay for your books, pay for your classes. All of that's on the website, and it's so helpful to just know before you start enrolling yourself. It's also helpful to know what you will be considered. Will you be considered a part-time student or a full-time student? That really does make a difference in your G.I.BILL benefits, because they require you to be full-time to receive everything. You can't go just take one class and get all the benefits. I mean, you will get your benefits, but you're not maximizing them, and you're leaving a lot on the table, essentially. And anyone that you talk to will kind of tell you that, hey, it probably would be best of you to take at least 2 classes or at least 3 classes. I can't really say, every school is different, but I know for myself, at one point I was taking only 2 classes, and when I called, I had an advisor tell me that, hey, I think you should take 3 classes because this school requires 3 classes to be considered full-time, and if you're full-time, you get X, Y, and Z benefits. So I was like, oh, okay, I didn't know that. I enrolled in 3 classes and started getting my full benefits. So it's really important to look at the website, know your benefits, know your rights, know what's required of you. When I was using my benefits, I believe that you could make a D, and a D does fluctuate across every school, but I believe that you could make a D and still pass and not lose your benefits. It may have changed, but it's still good to know what is required of you for them to continue to pay, because if you do fail a class, like any type of funding, they're not gonna pay for the school. You're gonna end up paying it out of pocket. So if you fail a class, it's just important to know like what's considered passing and failing, because the school will have one thing and the G.I.BILL will have another. They're not gonna pay for you to go to school and make like 60s and below. Not that a 60 is the exact grade, but it's listed on there like what you can and cannot make to continue to use your benefits. So this video wasn't too long and that you took away something helpful. Hopefully if you are a service member, that you take my advice and go use your TA. And if you are out already, you're a veteran, or you are a spouse, look into the G.I.BILL. There's some great benefits to get your degree. I know we live in a day and age where you don't need a degree to be successful, but if you are in the market for a degree, I highly recommend using those benefits and what's already there for you, because it is there for you to use. So use your benefits, and I hope that you have a great experience. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up. If you have not already, leave a comment down below letting me know, are you a service member? Are you a veteran? Are you a spouse? Are you in school? Have you already finished? So let me know, like, where are you in your education journey? Do you plan to get another degree after the one that you're completing? Let me know down below. Subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.